Hi, Teresa from parentingforsocialchange.com. Thanks for joining me today. My inspiration for today's video blog has to do with an NPR story that was a book review by a mom of a book titled The Secret to Happy Families. I haven't read the book, but the commentary, which was pretty funny to me and spurred me to think a little bit more and want to talk with you about it, had to do with some of the suggestions that she has implemented from the book and some of the results that came when she implemented those suggestions. And one of the suggestions that came from the book was that you have a family meeting every week. And another suggestion had to do with having a discussion as a family about what your values are. What are the values you all have in common? And so the discussion in her family that came up was one about respect. And her son, I think 8, came up with the idea that one aspect of respect, it has to do with being able to eat without a fork and a knife, to eat with your hands at the dinner table once in a while. So I thought that was a funny comment, and what the mom commented in the NPR story was that she knew that the meeting had gone downhill when that suggestion came up. It made me think a little bit more about respect and what respect means and what it means to ask questions of children but hope to only get certain answers. And I know as a parent I have certainly done that. I really want a certain answer, I ask the question, and I don't get the answer I want. And depending on how things are going for me, I may be triggered, I may be reactive to not getting the answer I want. But I always find it fascinating sometimes that I will ask those questions, want a certain answer, and inevitably I get a true answer for the child in my life, and it's not usually the answer that I'm expecting to hear. And I think that happens right to all of us, where we ask a child a question, we're hoping to get a certain answer, that wasn't it, oh, that doesn't work out too well. But it also made me think about, what we really want in our relationships with children. And, so often we hear about wanting children to learn critical thinking skills, to be creative problem solvers, to be leaders, that they're the next generation that's going to solve our country's problems. And yet so often what is emphasized in school, in relationships with adults in our dominant culture is deference to authority and respecting authority, whether or not that authority figure is asking you to do something that's consistent with and authentic for you or not. And so we want children to have certain kinds of characteristics, and it's kind of like asking the question and we get their genuine answer and it's not really what we want. And so when we're parenting from a place of trust and respect, what does that really mean? Well, if you don't want to hear a true answer, you probably shouldn't ask the question. I know I could certainly use that lesson once in a while, that if I'm in a particular place and I want something to happen, to pretend that I want a genuine dialogue or discussion or a true answer from a child in my life, when really I just need to get something done or move forward or we need to go or whatever it is, right? To pretend that I want that answer by asking the question really is a setup for both of us, a setup of frustration for me and a setup for the child of feeling unheard. So when we're parenting from a place of trust and respect, and that means also respecting who we are and being genuine and authentic, it may be that children don't do the kinds of things that we really want them to do. They don't always want to follow what we want to do. And if what we truly want is for them to remain connected to their inner authority, to be empowered to be who they really are, to become those critical thinkers and creative problem solvers, then we also have to leave room for them to give us the answers we don't want to hear. And then, if we're triggered by that as parents, if we're struggling with maybe this is both metaphorical and literal, if we're struggling with getting the answer we don't want, then that's a great opportunity for us. If we're triggered, if we're reactive, wow, what a great opportunity to go in. Why did I want a different answer? Why am I upset that I didn't get the answer I wanted? What am I really needing right now? And what am I expecting from the child in my life? And are those expectations reasonable? And where do they come from? And it doesn't mean that we're always giving and sacrificing and, that there's always chaos and anarchy and children rule. That really isn't what it's about. It's about the parent and the child understanding who they really are, coming from a place of genuineness, and then trying to meet the needs of everyone in the family. And I absolutely believe that that's possible. Sometimes we can feel like we're in a no-win situation, right? We're wanting a certain answer, we get a different answer, now we're at odds, there's conflict, where do we go from there? But when we're sort of letting go of the expectation that we have, the expectation of a certain answer, when we're opening ourselves to understanding why we might be frustrated by the answer that we got, then it's a great opportunity to build in that relationship together. So respect, could be not eating with a fork and a knife at dinner. It could be letting there be many answers to a question. It could be that my answer is different from the child's answer and that that's okay. And that we can come to some place together in a process, a mutual process, co-creative process together. So those are all the possibilities. And it's, I think, a great thing to ask the question, get an answer we don't expect, be triggered by that, and then think, wow, where did that come from? Why am I triggered? What am I thinking? Why am I feeling that way? Just sinking into what those feelings are and trying to understand what's been brought up by the child who shares my life. It's a great opportunity. So ask the questions. You may not get the answers you want, but part of creating mutual respect and trust is being willing to ask the question, hear the answer, whether it's the answer we want or not. Be able to find our own answers, and then together as a family to create what we need to meet everyone's needs. Thanks for your commitment to transforming childhood and transforming the world, and have a great day.